We are the one, the light in the dark. One heart, one world, one spark. We are the one, together we rise. One dream, one voice, one sky. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Women Empowered Across the World. This is our podcast, and I have my host with me, Jackie Zaccoli, resides in Arizona, and she collaborates with me all over the globe, specializing in Africa. And and please check out her Gen Network. Global Impact Network is a place you want to be for collaboration. And I'm Carol Witt. I am the founder and the director for YEA Global. We just went into 83 countries, guys. Uh, I am so excited. And that was out of a declaration. I just declared I wanted to go global about 5 years ago. Oof, incredible. And we have the most amazing guest on today. She's back, guys. Jan Edwards, um, Paving the Way. I'm so excited to have her here today. And Jan, come join us and share your amazing story and what you are up to.
Thank you. So, Carol, can I just bring you everywhere I go? Because oh, I love that. Because we get so, and hey, y'all, we get so heads down buried in what we do. We don't see ourselves as the world sees us, right? Because we're just we're just doing the thing. And while I do appreciate accolades, don't get me wrong, but it's not my love language. I forget. I just forget sometimes because it's like, how do I help the next person? How do we get to the next group? How do we, right? Where am I going? Who am I talking to? How do I expand this to save more lives? And
Yes.
so to have someone, and it's authentic, Carol, that's what I appreciate about you. It's
Mm.
authentic, the warm and welcoming, and you're amazing. It's real for you. It's just
Yeah.
real for you. And so over here, however we're feeling or how we're not feeling, we're like, I'm gonna sit up a little taller.
I love it.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah.
but
So
I
thank you for
absolutely,
that warm welcome. Yeah.
I absolutely love what you are doing in your life. I love the passion you have for this. So
Thank you.
I can't say enough.
I love that. So where should we start? Where do you want me to start? Where should we start off today?
Well, okay, so tell people a little bit about how you got here. What
Okay.
you here, and
Okay.
then yeah, just expound.
Terrific. So, back in 2013, I was at the Get Health Summit at the UN and met this extraordinary man, Dr. Mahari. He's a neurologist out of Vanderbilt. And you meet people at conferences, or you see them speak, or you see them in the hallway, and you're like, I have to go talk to that person. That kind of thing. That's who he was for me. And we exchanged cards and we did some emails, we did some texts because at the time I was working for a vision screening company with this really snappy vision screener that you didn't need to go, it was portable, right? So you could actually capture someone's vision and prescribe glasses literally right on the site. So, and as you both know, in underdeveloped and underserved countries, eyesight and eye care is rare. And so it would have revolutionized eye care around the world. Um, and so, we chit-chatted back and forth, and I'm like, I can hardly wait to connect with you and, show you what we've got. And he's like, Jan, I look forward to, however, I'm planning a trip to Ethiopia. Can we talk when I get back? I'm like, of course, have a great time. Let's take pictures. I'll talk to you then. And he sends me an email right back and says, do you want to go? Well, it's not every day you get invited to go to Ethiopia with an Ethiopian, right? That has those kinds of connections and relationships inside the government and the community that one, you're going to be safe and taken care of. And two, you're going to get in places that if you just went by yourself, you wouldn't get into. So I went and I brought actually one of my board directors with us. And, for those of you that live in that environment, right? I honor you. I don't know if you guys have updated Zoom yet or not, but
Yeah.
yeah, I honor you
Oh,
doing the work that you're doing in an environment that does not call for that. Doesn't call for you to succeed. It doesn't call for you to look out for your fellow man. So I honor that person, that inside of you that does that. So there we were, and we're driving home from doing a vision screening. We did an entire school. And I was, if you've ever been, for those of you in the United States or in first world countries, if you've ever been on a mission trip, you know at the end of the day is like you're exhausted, you are hungry, and you just want to shower and you want to go to bed. That's what you want to do. So we were driving home and we're in the thick of it. We're in Addis Ababa, so we're in the thick of the traffic. And I looked out the window and it's just a moment in time, and I saw two older men and two younger women, and it just didn't feel right. Like there was, it was just a moment. And I was like, that was weird. When I got back to my sponsor's house, I share with him what I saw. He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's human trafficking." Just like, "Hey, Carol, let's grab coffee." It was bizarre. Um, and I looked at him. I said, "What are you talking about?" And you gotta remember, this is 2013. Okay, so this is 12 years ago. This is before Epstein and Maxwell and Kelly and Diddy and all the things, right? We didn't even talk about human trafficking or exploitation, at least over here. It was happening, but nobody talked about it. And I looked at him, I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Jan, we have 4.5 million orphans in Ethiopia. We're the number one source of human trafficking into the Middle East." And I remember sitting there thinking, going, like, wait, wait, wait. And I looked at him and said, I said, "Hang on a second." I said, "Are you telling me people are selling people?" Because I couldn't wrap my head around it. Yeah, over here, I'm thinking, Emancipation Proclamation. We're all done with that. Frederick Douglass, all of those things that happened back in the 1800s. And he looked at me and said, "Jan, at the time, this is a $150 billion industry. Where have you been?" I go, "Orlando, happiest place on earth, right?" We don't talk about that kind of thing. And that's when God laid it on my heart. And he said,
mm,
literally said, "Save my children, save my kids." And so I came home and I did 2 years of research. I'm a business person, right? I worked in the telecommunications industry for most of my career. And I talked to anybody and everybody that would talk to me about this. I talked to law enforcement, I talked to FBI, HSI, survivors, undercover cop, like everybody. And I asked them all the same question: what's missing, the presence of which would make a difference?
mm,
And they all answer the same thing: awareness. Well, my background's in marketing and advertising. I'm like, I can do that. Like, I can raise awareness. And as the more I started doing that, the more I realized people had no idea what I was talking about. And a lot of the foundations and organizations that were already in this space were trying to educate people and serve survivors. You
mm,
can't, unless you have a staff of a gajillion, right? Several hundred people, you can't really effectively do that. So I was like, okay, so education's missing. People don't really understand what this is. And the target age at that time was 11 to 14. I'm like, okay, so now you're messing with my kids. Now I know what God was talking about.
mm,
And so we developed a curriculum specifically to educate young people about what's actually happening online, in chat spaces, on video games, and in person. And now you've got AI. And so we've been doing that since 2016. This is our 10-year anniversary. It's very exciting. And to date, we've educated over 46,000 kids and adults around the country and around the world, if you count Zoom, right?
mm,
In person and in small groups. That's what makes us so effective and impactful, is because we use the Socratic method of education. We're very clear that when you engage in a dialogue, in particular with young people who are pretty much told to sit down and be quiet in school, right? That when they get the opportunity to engage, when they get the opportunity to speak up, when they get that opportunity, it's a whole different ballgame for them. They start to do the critical thinking. They start to understand what's actually happening on this device. And then be able to do something about it. There's an action they can take. They're no longer helpless. They're no longer naive to the darkness that these predators are seeping into their lives. And I've read a statistic, it's showed up twice on my Insta feed. 67% of conversations online are happening through AI or chatbots. It's not people. Our children are not talking to real people, but they think they are. Okay. So, how do we prepare them? How do we show them how to test what or who they're talking to in a way that's meaningful? And then, how do we protect them? How do we insulate them from outside forces to get them in? So, one of the things we talk to the kids about, so simple, is to go into your settings, find your locations, because every single app on your phone has a location setting. Turn it off. Just turn it off, right? Or while using, of course. If you're using a map, you want your location settings on. If you're trying to make an airline reservation, it needs to, right? Okay. But it's either while using or off. Same thing with your microphone, same thing with your camera. You want to turn your camera off on every single app or while using. Turn your microphone off or while using. Okay. So simple. Second thing is to turn on your privacy settings and turn off the tracking settings. Okay, because in an iPhone, they can track you. I don't want anybody to track me. You don't need to know where I'm at. Right? Not that I'm doing anything nefarious, but you don't need to know where I'm at. So, again, you go into every single app and you turn off location and turn on privacy. Those two things right there will decrease the input of all this junk at least by 50%
Mm.
because strangers can't get in. Right? Strangers can't get in. And that just those two simple things right there can make a difference for kiddos. And then what we used to do to test to see if it was a person or not, right, is, an Instagram and someone asks to friend you, you can click and see their profile. Well, if their profile's private, no, I'm sorry, you can't. No, just no. But secondly, you can see if it's a guy and who they're following. And if they have 1,000, if they're following 1,000 people and 998 of them are young girls, it's a pretty good indication, not a good human to connect with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Um, and then also to be able to understand what they're doing. So just those two little things on whether it's Snap or Insta or TikTok, you go in and look at who are they following and who's following them. And then you look at the pictures. My favorite is they've got the picture of their dog, the picture on their boat, their picture next to their expensive car. And you're like, okay, you have 5 pictures. They all got uploaded today. You're following 998 girls. I am
Mm.
pretty sure this is not a real human. Now then, our children's brains aren't fully developed until they're between 25 and 30. And if I'm in a particular situation, all right, it could be a variety of things as a child, or I'm bored, or my boyfriend or girlfriend just broke up with me and I'm sad and I'm not feeling worthy or pretty or whatever. And I share that with the world because I don't have my location settings off and I don't have my privacy on. That's how predators slide right in. There's algorithms, there's bots that pick that up. And oh, Carol, I'm so sorry you broke up with your boyfriend. That happened to me a couple of weeks ago. Now, it could be a picture of a girl. It's not a girl. Okay. It's some group over in Nigeria trying to get you to send an inappropriate picture so they can, spam you and manipulate you and threaten you and coerce you into sending money or more pictures. But our kids don't know that. All they know is in that moment, they're feeling a particular way, not realizing if they burp, it'll probably go away. Okay. Right. You remember puberty?
Mhm.
You remember puberty? You're a walking hormone with arms and legs. You like pizza. Your favorite pizza is pepperoni pizza, and 2 weeks later you hate pepperoni pizza and you just want cheese. Hormones. All I gotta say, and predators know that. And that's what they try to capitalize on, is this jumbo scrambling of our prefrontal cortex as we're growing up, this uncertainty. And still to this day, Carol, you and I know this very well. None of us think we're enough. I don't care how old you are. All of us want to be loved. All of us want to be told we're beautiful. All of us want to be told we matter. Every single human on this planet, I don't care who you are, how old you are, what you look like. I don't. Is everyone has that same basic need, and it's amplified as a teenager, right? So that's part of the impact that we get to have. And I'm going to share some statistics with you. These are very recent,
Oof.
because I've been nervous about AI for a long time. We started talking about AI 3 years ago because it was on my radar. And the beauty of our particular programs is we update them every couple of weeks, because when we're out with young people or we're out with law enforcement or we're out with parents, they're going to say, "Hey, have you guys ever heard of fill in the blank?" We're like, "No, didn't." So we'll go research it. And if more than one group of people shares it with us, we will add it to our slides. We'll add it to the conversation. VR chat. Nobody talked about VR chat 2 years ago. Now they're talking about VR chat, right? So our conversations are very, very relevant because we're out with young people and we update them all the time. So AI. Um, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which has the, 800 missing kids hotline, they put out a blog last August. And last August, so from January to July of last year, they had seen an increase of AI generated CSAM. So that's AI generated child sexual abuse material. Now, all they need is a picture. That's all I need. Guess the rate of growth just in that 6 month period of time. Just take a guess. Like what percentage? What do you think?
70%.
Try 9,238%. Yeah. And then the Internet Watch Foundation, which is global, just reported like globally, it's up 26,000%, all from just a picture. It's all they need. And so one of the conversations we're having with our parents is stop sharing pictures of your children. Stop. Right. And I don't know if you saw, like, over the holidays, um, and even, so I'm going to pause for a second, even the hearts, they put the hearts or they blur out the faces. There's now AI that you
That
can
can,
download that picture and it will remove the heart.
it'll clear it.
Right. So even that's not safe anymore. These people are just so disturbed. Um, so do you remember over the holidays, the silly little bodysuit pictures, and the little cute, and it was your face on somebody's body. It had like the glittery bodysuit. It was like such a fad for the holidays. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I got online and I said something about it. And my friends are like, "You're not being very enrolling. You're not." And I'm like, "Look, your life's at stake here. I don't care if I'm enrolling. I really don't. Because all it takes, there are 249 that I know of, there are probably more, nudifying apps. So what does that mean? They take your picture, and let's say you're in an evening gown, right? You're fully dressed. They will download that picture, take that evening gown off, and then upload it onto a pornographic website that you can never get back, because there's over 1 million of them. They're not moderated by anybody. They just generate cash. So there you are in your cute little outfit, in your sparkly thing, and because you're already in a provocative position. All they
Mhm.
have to do is download that, take that little jumpsuit off, upload it onto a website, and you're done. They can send it to your boss. They can send it to your family. They can extort you for money.
Yep. And they're
These
doing
people
it.
are evil, right? And so with children, we're actually having to protect our children's digital footprint into the future. There's a really great video. I will find it and send it to you that, people can watch. It's a Deutsche Telekom. Deutsche Telekom does some really good advertising, by the way. It's a short, 2.5, 3-minute video about what AI can do to your child's future. And I had a conversation yesterday with a parent, and I said, you can't even show their face, okay? I said, you can't, I said, just don't even show their face. You can have them, let's say you're at the beach, because we're here in, Florida, they're at the beach. Have them way out, on their surfboard going up, there's my kid surfing, because you can't see their face. It's too far away. Right? Or if they're out on the soccer field, yeah, way over there, that's go team. And with parents, I highly recommend, I said, either create a very tight family group chat, on Signal or on, Facebook, you can have a private family page. Now, Meta has access to all this, so it's not super private. However, a nefarious people can't necessarily download it, and you have to have an agreement with your family that they're as proud as you are of your grandchildren or children or nieces or nephews. You cannot share these pictures. Can't. That's why
Mm,
I'm like, create a little group thread on your phone, right? So it stays on your phone. I don't have any of my pictures upload onto the iCloud. I don't do that. I just don't do that, right? So there's things that, and you'll not all the time, but most of the time, if I'm posting a picture on, so I'm either in a hat and glasses or I've got my sunglasses on. Right now, yeah, of course they could take off the sunglasses, However, it's not worth it, right? That's effort. They would rather it'd rather be easy
here.
when someone's
Easy.
face is full face is shown. They want easy. They want easy and fast. Okay. One more statistic.
Wow.
Um, Common Sense Meal, two more statistics. Common Sense Media did a really great piece of research. You guys can look it up. I always cite people whose research I pull.
Mhm.
So they discovered, and when I talk to parents and I talk to kids, I'm like, look, you are being intentionally targeted. Don't think it's because you're awesome. It's because you're young. Your brain hasn't developed yet. You're super susceptible and gullible. And it's not because you're not smart. It has nothing to do with intellect. It has to do with life experience. You have to have experience on the planet to be able to discern stuff for yourself, right? Facial expressions. You can't see a facial expression on this thing. There's no facial expression. Emojis aren't the same thing. There's no tone on text. And if I'm in a bad mood and someone says, "Hey, good morning," I I'm going to take it a particular way. Not how they meant it, but how my body is feeling at that moment in time, right? So, our kids are still dealing with loneliness and isolation. People think that because of this thing, we're more connected. We're not. We're actually more separate than ever. And we're playing the comparison game. And so, they discovered that our kids get an average of 267 DMs or inappropriate pictures every single day. 267 pieces of information you didn't ask for every day. We can't process that much information. How are they supposed to when their brain's not done yet? Right? And it wears them down. If the same guy keeps coming at them, keeps coming, you're so beautiful, you're so, at some point in time, I'm going to be at a low enough ebb that I'm just going to give in and I'm going to start talking to him because he keeps coming. Well, if he's persistent, he must like me. Well, I don't have the great brain capacity to figure out that I'm being targeted intentionally. And I keep posting things about how sad I am or upset I am, or I didn't make the team, or I feel a particular way about my body, or I wish this or I wish that, right? These
Mhm.
people watch what you post. Haven't you ever been out and about and you post something and somebody goes, Carol, oh my God, I love your post, about fill in the blank. And you're like, I didn't see you comment. And I don't think you liked or loved it. So people are watching you. They're reading your comments. They're reading what you're doing, and they're not telling you online. And the only way you know is when you see them in person. You're like, interesting, right? So in that same space, same research, Common Sense Media shared that 72% of kids have an AI companion.
Mhm.
Shows the level of loneliness and loss of connection our kiddos have. Now,
Hey,
while AI is useful, right? I use it to condense my sentences, to reword my sentences, to,
mhm,
create a flyer for me pretty darn quickly so I can, and, so then I can tweak it,
mhm.
right? I have it do some of the lifting and then I'll tweak it. It's perfect for that, designed for that, right? I can do logos, can do videos, this, that, and the other thing. Awesome. Yay. But what it can't do is this. It can't really connect because it's not a person. But again, brain's not done yet. And it starts to feel like a person. Do y'all use AI for any
Mhm.
of this? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know how many times like you're done with the thing, it's like, is there anything else I can do for you? Would you like me to create a flyer? Would you
Would
like
you
me to
like
create a
to do?
30-second story? What else? Right?
Yeah.
It's this luring in of you and your time. Well, I'm 12. I'm bored. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
do that for
And
me. Oh yeah, add that. Oh
yep,
yeah.
yep. And the thing that it's doing is it's blurring the lines between reality and non-reality. It's blurring the lines between consent and non-consent, abuse and not abuse. Because just like boiling a frog in water, if you put a frog in boiling water, it would leap out. But if you slowly turn the temperature up,
Fun.
they're not going to know the difference. Very similar with our kids. And it's the other thing is it's not preparing our children to have actual discourse. And I'm going to call it arguments, for lack of a better term. Because if you, Carol, don't agree with me, because my chat companion agrees with me all the time and tells me I'm right, I must be right, and you don't agree with me and you're telling me I'm wrong, I'm going to leave.
Mhm.
Well, okay. So you're going to leave me forever because we don't agree, or are you actually interested in why I don't agree? And maybe you can teach me something and I can teach you something so we can come somewhere in the middle and agree. This is the space that we can agree on. I don't agree out here and I don't agree out here, but this space I agree on. But if I don't teach my kids how to have an argument, if I don't teach my children to communicate in a way other than crossing my arms and marching out the room because you didn't agree with me, or bringing a weapon to school because one of my friends didn't agree with me, or the teacher didn't agree with me, or the coach didn't, right?
Mhm.
You're erasing the human connection. And that's what we've got to bring back. While we've taken phones out of schools in the state of Florida, for me, I would like them when they come to school, they check them in and they get a key and they wander off to class. It's nowhere on their body, right? Because now I have to actually look at you in the eyeball. I have to talk with you. I have to be with you. And I got to work out that I don't agree with you or you don't agree with me. And then we get to have that dance of discourse, of really learning how to communicate with somebody. And it's a missing.
Oh, so missing.
It's a
Mm,
missing. So
yeah,
that's some of the stuff that for your people that listen and tune in
yeah.
is I just invite you as a family,
Mm,
create no screen time, right? Create a time where phones are down. Now, I get that people are in periods of life where there's might be somebody sick or someone's aging. So, not a problem. Just have it on vibrate. So if they need you, but phones away, play a board game, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, right? Go swimming, go
together.
do something together, right? Play trivia, do dance content. I don't care. Something. Go outside and do chalk art, but do something together because that's what's going to make your kids a hard target. Because now, as a parent, I knew my kid. I knew when she was off. I knew it. And I can feel it, right? I knew when she was lying. I knew when she wasn't telling me the truth. I knew when something was bothering her and she wasn't quite ready to say anything. It gave some space sometimes. Other times I was to demand, I'm like, no, you're going to cough this up because you're just not going to sit there like that, right? All the variations of that because we spent time together. We have to spend time with our children and our family to start to understand the nuances of, is she sad or and angsty? Most teenagers are, right? Most teenagers are. Or is there something else off? But if I can't distinguish, that's what makes our kids easy targets for predators. Your parents won't understand. I'm the only one that understands you. I mean, we all felt that way as teenagers, right? Our parent, you're right. We don't get it. We're not teenagers, but it doesn't mean I don't want to not get it. Help me understand. Help me understand what you're experiencing so we can walk through it together. And the thing that I put to like in my brain connected for what we really do, we give kids the language, the words to express what they're experiencing in a way that grown-ups can understand.
Mm, I love
So then
that.
that opens the door for a conversation because now they can say, this guy's been pressuring me. He's been enticing me. He's been manipulating me to send pictures. I'm really uncomfortable, mom, and I don't know what to do. And so instead of the parent, putting their little, I told, that whole I'm holier than thou, more right than you, it's like, oh, I got it, kiddo. We got
Mm.
this. You're being intentionally targeted. I just learned about this on this really cool podcast with the women of YEA. Right. So it gives them an opportunity to have a conversation that makes a difference and an impact with their kids where your kids are at
Mm.
versus making the assumption, we
So,
talked about this. I told you. Well, okay, you've all experienced it. How many times do we tell our kids to take out the trash? Remember puberty, and they
mhm.
didn't do it. And they just couldn't remember because this is all being scrambled. It just not isn't present. And then they get upset because you're bugging them because they literally didn't remember. You think they should have because you told them. No, it's not how that works. It's the same thing. This is a conversation that's got to be continual, day after day, after week, after month, because tactics change. These guys are using techniques, specific manipulative
Mm.
techniques. And the fact that they figured out, oh, we're going to put a heart over a kid's face. Well, somebody designed an app to take it off,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes I have to think like a criminal because I got to think 2 or 3 steps ahead to like, what else are you going to do to come after our kids?
Oh.
Boo-boo
Mm.
heads. I have other words to say about it, but it's like just stop the action, stop that.
Mhm.
And if parents can actually start to have a real conversation with their kids about it, not a make wrong, but a being curious, being
Mhm.
engaging, being, I don't understand, help me understand, right? And I promise I'll listen. I can't promise I'm not going to ask questions along the way, but I promise I'll listen. So practicing our listening skills with our poker face on instead of being like, you did what? It's like,
Mhm.
okay, got it. So you sent an inappropriate picture. All right, good. So let's take a look at that. Let's see who you sent it to, right? It's like very surgical if you can take the emotion out of it, and you gotta practice.
Mhm.
You gotta practice your poker face in the mirror. Have your spouse or a friend or, right, somebody come at you with all the horrible things your kid could say so you can just practice going, yeah, honey, I got it. Okay, well, how are we gonna let's let it's not your fault. We're gonna take you gotta be able to practice,
Mm.
right? Because they're gonna look for the eye
Yeah.
twitch, the mouth move, the
That's
roll. They're gonna
good.
look for it. And the
Good.
moment that happens, they're done. They're shut down. They're not gonna share anymore. And we don't want that.
Mm. Wow. Wow, Jan. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. I pray this goes viral, that so many parents are able to see this, because you've given so many practical things for parents to really look at. Every household needs to have this information.
Mhm.
So
Agreed.
so amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so does anyone have a question? We have Sabangare. She joined us. Hi, Sabangare. She is in Malawi.
Wow.
Hi, I'm sorry, I'm unable to turn on my video right now because we don't have lights, so
It's
you won't be
okay.
able to see me.
We're
You're
just letting
here in the middle of the night.
Yes.
you're here. It's amazing. Thank you. Jackie, do you have a question? And you are muted. Do you have a question for Jan?
Well, I've spent most of the time trying to find the one person that you need to talk to, and I finally got her uh, because she does it in the schools. She goes and wants to have counselors in each of the schools so that they screen the people. I mean, it goes on and on. You guys could be joined at the hip.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I am so excited about what you're doing.
Thank
It
you.
is scary and really so important right now. We just need to clone you for a
Yeah.
lot of other people. So I would love to have you on Gin. I just anytime in February on a Tuesday,
Okay.
please. And you're Florida, so that is 11 o'clock your time.
Mhm.
Please, 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 we need you in the education arm of this. It could be
Okay.
wellness, but at this point, education, because that's what this
Education.
month is.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and I just put my email in there, so just reach out and I'll send you my calendar link and we'll connect.
yeah, that'd be good. So, I mean, you have such a huge, huge global focus. What do you need? I mean, what is it that would be the most impressive way we could actually help you?
That's a great question. Um, so here's the thing. I will train adults online all day long. I have no issue. Talking to kids, different ball game. Because when we go into schools, we're in schools too, Jackie.
Good.
When we go into schools, we literally come in with a throng, right? Because who's ever leading is leading, right? And you've got a classroom full of, 25 to 40 kids, all right? And I can't pay attention to all of them. And when I'm leading, I can hold space and I'm clear about the room and I can see things.
Mm,
But we've got people in the back of the room, and their whole job is to watch kids. Their whole job is to see what they're reacting to, what they're impacted by. And we have a list at the end of the day, right, of every single class, of every single child. What was the conversation that was being had in the moment and what their reaction to it was. All right. And
mm,
we give that to the safe coordinator or the school counselor or whomever. And I'm going to say 75 to 80% of the time, it's not a surprise to them. It's like, yep, this kid's parents is going through divorce. This kid's grandma just moved in. This kid's brand new. They don't have any friends. Like they're clear. Like they can, like this.
mhm,
With that other 25% of the kids, it's like
Mm.
they've been off. And I'm so glad that so now they get to go check in with the kiddos, right? So they can go touch base and see what's actually happening because then they're open to have the dialogue with that child just to check in, right? And we let the kids know, look, your safe coordinator, your SRO, your principals, your dean, like everybody knows we're in having this conversation and we talk about safe adults. Does everybody have at least one safe adult? And it's not always at home. Okay. Sometimes it's the only safe adult they have is at school. So, it's like if there's something happening, please go have a conversation with them because it's never their fault. You know, they're under the age of 18. First of all, they have no business signing a contract to be on an app, by the way,
Mm.
right? So the App Store Accountability Act, which is making its way through our federal spaces, and a lot of states are picking it up as well, um, requires every app on the App Store and Google Play Store to be rated 18 plus. And you have
Oh,
to have parental permission to download it. Yeah. And you're
the
seeing,
Snapchat. Oh.
yeah, you're seeing Australia, France, UK are now all limiting social media to no one under the age of 16. Can't
Mm.
sign on. Now, these kids are smart. They'll figure out a way around if they need to. However, then that's on the application. If a kid sneaks in the back door, that's going to be on the app.
Mm.
Australia's already deleted like 1.6 million profiles because they know they're all underage. You look at the picture and you can see who's underage, right? And so it's being able to have some guardrails up for our kids because it can't be all on the parents and the kids. It just can't be, right? So being able to, be in because this is it, technology is accelerating at a rate we've never seen anything accelerate before. Okay. So what I say today, still relevant, but it'll be updated and new 2 weeks from now because that's how fast it's going,
That's why
right?
we had you back.
Yeah, exactly. So
Things
so
change.
that's why I am challenged to educate kids online. Now we've done it once, but this was the esports kids for Orange County schools, right? And they were great because they're used to being online. They're used to, right? That's where they live. So it wasn't a, and they were engaging. We laid the ground rules. It's like, look, I know we're not in person. We can't make you engage, and we need you to. This is the best way for you to learn. And they were great. So it's not, I'm not like a never, but the more adults we can educate that can then in turn share with other adults, and then they can have converse, because we have a parent toolkit. It's a great parent toolkit, right? And that's a great place to start. So to be able to have people have access to that, right? And then the second thing is awareness. Now, most people make an assumption that I am gonna butcher your name. Can you pronounce our guest's name for me, please, Carol? One more
SIBO.
time. One more time.
SIBO.
Sibo, thank you. So, all right, Sibo. So, um, to have it in your language, right? How do we translate that? How do we do that? Now, Canva is great. They've got all kinds of different languages, and we've translated stuff into Spanish, English, Portuguese, French, Creole, and Russian. I don't
Wow.
have it in Chinese or Mandarin or, whatever. Exactly. I don't have it in any of those languages, but that's possible, right? Because just having that, having the parents be aware is a big deal. Now, the next week, I'm going to a meeting up in DC of, I'm going to call it a conclave of leaders in this space in the United States and overseas. And one of the things that we've been asked, um, if I could wave a magic wand, right? What are the top 10 things you would do in the anti-trafficking space? And I'm only one person with one opinion. So I reached out to a lot of my friends across the country and I asked them the same question. I said, give me your top three. Right? I narrowed it down for them because then I could discern it. I'm going to say 80% of them said an awareness campaign.
Mm.
People don't understand what human trafficking actually is because they think transport and they think SIBO's it only happens in SIBO's country, right? Not realizing it's happening right down the street from you, no matter where you are. So to create a campaign in such that people understand what it actually looks like, and it's not always chains and bars and locked doors, and it's not cages either. However, the cage can be invisible. So there's a really great book. So you asked me what I needed. Creating awareness for what it actually is and how it actually happens can really make a difference for people. It will have parents be, heads up, eyes out for when their kids are on their phone. And I'm looking for a very specific, I'm going to read something for you. So Virginia Giuffre, who was one of the very first Epstein victims that spoke out, wrote a book. Now, sadly, she
Mm.
has since passed away. Um, but she wrote this particular piece that I think sums up what people need to understand about trafficking. So these are her words. The worst things Epstein and Maxwell did to me weren't physical, but psychological. From the start, they manipulated me into participating in behaviors that ate away at me, eroding my ability to comprehend reality and preventing me from defending myself. From the
Mm.
start, I was groomed to be complicit in my own devastation. Of all the terrible wounds they inflicted, that forced complicity was the most destructive. I was about to spend more than 2 years in the Maxwell Epstein orbit. My job to do whatever they asked, whenever they asked for it. There were no bars on the windows or locks on the doors, but I was a prisoner trapped in an invisible cage.
Wow.
It's a really
That's
good
pretty
book.
impressive.
Highly recommend
Yeah.
it because it
Yeah.
gives you a peek into the world of a child who is intentionally targeted, groomed, manipulated, forced from her point of view. As an adult, remember, she was only 15. Brain wasn't done. She had 10 more years of brain wiring to do, right? But as an adult, you can see and be like, well, gosh, why didn't she leave? But looking back as a child, right? Look back at how impressionable we were.
Mhm.
Look back at those friends we had that we all did stupid stuff that we knew we shouldn't be doing, but
Yeah.
we wanted to fit in, we wanted to belong, and they
Yeah.
target the children that are suffering the most from an abusive household, a single parent household, poverty, promising them
Mhm.
some future fairy tale life, when in reality, they're promising heaven and bringing them to hell. But they just don't know. And once they're in it, they're convinced it's their fault.
It's, yeah,
They're
they're present
convinced it's their fault
in
and
their
that no one
own
will
mind.
ever love them. Yeah, no one will ever love them. They'll never be enough and they're worthless.
Yeah.
It's an invisible cage that no one else can see but you. It is true psychological and spiritual warfare.
Wow.
I'd
That's why
like
this is so important.
I'd
Uh,
like you to somehow or other, I haven't figured it out in my mind, nor has it been channeled as an answer yet. However, I think you should work with Footsteps to Brilliance, which is the gamified literacy app that takes the child to third grade level in 90 days and through high school on careers and financial awareness.
What's it called
If
again?
it's called Footsteps, the number two, Brilliance. And there are literally millions of children in the United States that are being taught by that. And I haven't figured out how we can attach you to it. I'll talk to
oh,
my
wow.
vice president and see if he can figure a way. I know they probably have addressed this issue, but certainly not to the degree you're talking about.
Well, they can't. And that's why, I love when organizations provide information to teachers. Look, over here, if a kid walks away with one thing, I'm happy.
Mm,
However, they are not, and I hate to use the term expert because we're always learning, but I have a little bit more knowledge than most people. Okay.
wow.
So, right,
Yes.
SME, call it whatever you want, because this is my life. This is, my child is up and grown and gone. I have no animals, not even a goldfish because I travel a lot. And anyway, and there's no boyfriend in my, right, that doesn't exist currently. God's promising me, but it'll show up in time. Right. So this is all I do. And then I sleep and then I get back up and I do it some
Do it
more.
again. Mm,
Because it's just so, the line from Hamilton,
mm,
why do you write like you're running out of time? And yeah, for me, I'm saying that I've got at least 20, 25 more years on this planet to be significant and meaningful and impactful. Okay. And that's not a lot of time.
Tell me about it.
It's just not a lot of time, right? So how do we make the biggest impact over time? Well, succession planning. Right, we've created the Orange OCPS Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Advisory Council. So we are advising the school district on how to roll this out into the classes with the parents,
Okay.
with right,
Okay.
and so we're succession planning inside of that because I've got two other counties that are like, we want to do that. I'm a starter. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a fire starter, right? So great. So I'm bringing people up so I can still be on the advisory panel, but not lead it. So I can step out, create another one, bring people up there, leave, go out, create another one, bring people
Yeah.
up there, lead, right? And so then now all of a sudden you're seed planting
mm.
and you've got 5 or 6 or 7 school districts that are doing this. And then now I can take some of those people take them out and start planting them around the other states, right? So I guarantee you, if we created this in, I'm just going to say Austin, because it's the capital of Texas, it would spread throughout Texas, right? If we put this into Phoenix, right? I grew up in Scottsdale, by the way. It
Mhm.
would spread out into the like that, like you pick strategic cities that you create that with the school board and with the sheriff's department and with the city mayors. So you start to create this impenetrable force field around our children, standing side by side with the adults, with the sheriffs, with the
Yeah.
leaders in the community, with the businesses.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
There
when
you
a
go.
predator tries to
Safety.
sneak
Yeah.
in and they're like, oh, that kid's in Phoenix, I'm not going there. Right? Oh, that kid's in South Florida, I'm not going there. Oh, that kid's in
Yeah.
Malawi, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Right? So
See
you
this.
start to you start to put that force field around and you make the environment smaller and smaller and smaller for the predator. They're still going to, until you reduce the demand and get rid of the demand, this will always be around. But you know what?
Mm.
We can do everything we can to create that impenetrable space around our children. And when it happens, not if, when it
When it
happens,
happens. Yeah.
in a moment of weakness, that kid goes, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done that.
Mm.
Okay, I'm going to go talk to my coach. My coach said I could talk to them anytime, right? Like that. And then it
Y-
gets handled. This
Yeah.
child doesn't suffer any longer than they need to.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
footsteps is in all the districts,
Mhm.
and the whole town, the whole city. That's
Mm.
part of their deal is that they're all part of it with the fire department, with the police department, with all of them. So if
So,
nothing more to support that, I will get you to the vice president who will get you to the founder
Thank
and
you.
see how we can incorporate this
That'd be
into
amazing.
all of the ones, mostly in the United States, because I
And they're
haven't
out of DC,
made a
yeah?
dent in the US. I mean, in the world yet, huh?
They're out of DC.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'll be up there next week.
yeah, yeah. I'll talk to Greg today and see what he says to be able to get you there.
Yeah, at least if we can have a just a meet and greet coffee, that would be
mm,
amazing.
Yeah,
beautiful. So,
okay.
Jan, one more opportunity that I so see, thank you, God, is that, I am training 17 US directors in the US to deliver my YEA program.
Yeah,
And we've got at least 10 that are scheduled to deliver in May. And we look for guest speakers that open our students' minds to
Mm,
things. You could be a guest speaker for all of
I love
those courses so that you could speak to parents because our students are already established business owners. They probably
that.
have kids. Oh my goodness. So I see you as a resident guest speaker.
Yes.
well, plug the youth one. Don't you have still doing the youth
Oh,
empowerment?
the youth empowerment program too. Absolutely. So, Jan, I see you as really, honestly, a resident guest speaker for YEA all across the globe, all over the place.
Thank you. Yeah,
You
that's
could do
that's what it's
veterans
going to
too,
take.
Carol.
What?
You could do veterans too if you want.
Oh, yes, I can do veterans too because they have their parents.
That's
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. I
Well, and
mean,
I'd love to hire some, by the way. Right?
oh,
Right? Yeah,
okay.
because that's the
Uh,
while education isn't pushing down doors and rescuing people, in a way it kind of is,
mhm,
because
mhm.
we're rescuing their mind,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, got
And
it.
impacting and empowering a veteran to
Mhm.
be that protective force that they're already trained to be.
Yeah.
They already exude safety. They already exude, I'm, a protector. They already exude that. And we just
So
got to soften a little bit of that. So they're
yeah,
standing in front of kids. They're not drill
yeah,
sergeants, right? But
yeah.
they've still got that. That's a safe person for me to talk to.
Hmm.
That's a safe person. So when a
I could put
child,
you in front of many. So we're gonna work together. I just know in educating many, many people out there in the world, one of the things, so Sabangre, are you there? I'd like for you to, at least if you have a question for Jan, or just to share something you saw inside of what all she shared, I'd like to hear from you. Are you there, Sabangre? Hi.
Yes, I'm here.
Good. All right. Is there anything you'd like to say to Jan?
Yeah, actually, I have the time that I was listening to what she was sharing, I recall last year there was an incident that happened. There was a more like a student that was not in touch with anyone, neither even the parents. So it happened that he was struggling with some issues. He had some issues, and instead of consulting anyone, since no one was paying attention to him, it happened that he started to Google on how to get out of the situation, and it happened that she ended up committing suicide as recommended by the Google information. So when I was listening to her, in my mind, I was like, I wish each and every parent would hear what she's saying, because it's very important to pay attention to our kids
It is.
and to pay attention to people around us. So you are really doing a great job,
Thank
I
Uh,
you.
might say. And yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I just, and the parents, the guilt the parents experience for the rest, like, how did I not know? How could I not see? How could I let this, right? It's because parents really don't understand the insidiousness of this technology.
yep.
It's so alluring. I don't know. Have you all ever seen, and if you haven't, highly recommend it. It's Percy Jackson and the Lightning Bolt Thief. It's the Percy Jackson book series. Like in it's a in the it's like got a star-studded cast, by the way. I don't know how they did that. And the movie's pretty good. However, there's a scene where they have to go, it's always an adventure and a quest, right? They have to go to Las Vegas to this one particular casino, the Lotus Flower, and find whatever it is they're supposed to find, okay? Well, there's all these people pushing this delicious lotus flower that has, like, it totally alters your reality and time and space. So
Mm,
they actually end up being, they had a short amount of time, they end up being in this casino for 3 days, and they felt like it was maybe an hour. AI is the same thing. It lures our children in, and same thing with social media, doom scrolling, all of it. It lures us in with this promise of something that we think we're missing when we're really not.
mhm.
And it keeps us there and it steals our time. And that's what we want to interrupt.
Mm.
I have to
Look,
go. I have a thing at 10 o'clock.
yeah,
Just
I
just for a minute.
appreciate
Oh,
social media. I appreciate, like, there's ways to use it, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Jan, thank you so much for for coming back, opening
Of
our eyes
course.
even more, even more. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I want to have you back maybe every 3 months that you can
Yeah,
share things with us, please.
yeah.
I will
It's
set up.
changing that quickly.
Yes, I know. I know. Since we talked in November to where we are now is very different already. So
Yes.
I so get it, and I so believe what you are opening people's eyes to. They must know it. This is an education every adult needs to hear and know about. And
Yes.
so many of us are really in the dark, just like you were when you were like, they
So
sell
what are
you.
you talking about? Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so many of us are still in the dark. I mean, we've heard things, but
Hmm.
we really don't know the
Hmm.
whole picture. And you
Right.
really share that picture well. So
Thank you.
please come back in
Of
about 3 months.
course.
We'll have you back again. Okay. Guys, if you love these episodes, not if, you love these episodes, please share them with other people. Let this go viral. Many, many people need to see this, not just a few. Share it with everyone you care about, everyone that's out there in the world that really needs to hear this information, please, let's open their eyes and their minds to what's happening to our kids.
Yes, yes.
And
And
and this
I
is a
will I
book.
will put the public link of the
Yes.
parent toolkit in the chat, right?
Uh-huh.
So you can
Okay,
you can
beautiful.
share that. I put
I'll
our
put it up
website
in
on
the
there.
show notes. You absolutely will.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I will definitely be posting out on LinkedIn something amazing so that people can really repost. Please repost them so they go out into your network, okay? Guys,
Yes.
we do these episodes, one on Monday, two on Friday, and we're always looking for women that want to just come and share their story because your story is amazing. To many people that you don't even know out there will make a difference for. So this is what this platform's all about. And guys, every time we all deserve to thrive. Let's do this together. Bye, everyone.